much for a pleasant swim in vomit. You're listening to Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we'll be discussing Season 6, Episode 3, or Season 7, Episode 3 on Hulu. You know the drill by now. Attack of the Killer App. My name is Michelle Burlingame. With me, as always, are Tommy Roulette.
Hi.
Pete Woodward.
That's me.
And our guest today is author of Let Me Tell You a Story, Lachlan MacKinnon.
Hi.
Hi.
I mean, I know that's the respectable title to give you, like you're a published author now, but it really just, it buries the lead at all the other things you've done with
I haven't done anything else.
fancy rock bands, forklift.
Well, he's got the book
I
sitting
am-
right in front of him, so that's kind of where I went with it.
And to be honest, I've read it. It's hilarious and heartbreaking. It's a really, like, I was excited watching the build up to it as you posted some of the stories on Facebook and things, but like, it's a great read.
Thank you.
So you can plug it some more at the end, and we can tell people to
Is
buy
there
it.
a book on tape yet?
No, I was hoping
shit.
maybe we could hang out afterwards after the show.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'll leave this set up and you
Order
can
a
just
pizza.
have at
I
it.
haven't had dinner yet, and then we'll just take turns reading. I think that sounds like a great idea.
So, admittedly, you're not really a big fan of the Futurama show.
No, I am. I just don't, I haven't probably seen every episode. I mean, I like it, but I just don't watch tons and tons of TV.
Yeah, I mean, which is fine because I think your ability to bullshit your way out of nearly any situation is going to serve you way better than being a fan of the show.
Okay. I will do my best.
Yeah, I have perfect 100% confidence in you. This was, I think we're getting into like the regular new show starts. So shorter credit sequence, and the Jumbotron was just like the barest thing. Are we past the fucked up cartoons now, Tom?
I think so.
I mean, those are a thing of the past.
There might be a few here and there, but I don't know. I don't remember. It wasn't really anything I paid attention to. And like when you're watching it, at least on Netflix, the way it was like the autoplay would kick in and then it would like start up right at like the crash into the it started right at the crash at the Jumbotron, so you didn't really see if there was anything on it.
I'm going to sleep a lot better
So-
without those things in my nightmares because it just got weirder.
All of the
and
weird,
weirder.
racist, strange, problematic 1930s Merry Melody
They
cartoons.
apparently animators in the 30s and 40s were really fond of stuff like jazz cigarettes and laudanum because the stuff that they came up with was just bonkers. And now we don't have to watch it anymore at the beginning of this show. There's the wonderful Mayor Poopenmeyer.
This episode starts out so good. And then it just
Really?
I
falls
loved it.
apart.
I thought
I
it
hate
was
this
so
episode.
funny.
Yeah?
I'm easily pleased, though. That's
You're still
mean,
watching The Simpsons, so the bar's
yeah,
got
but
to be low.
the thing is that I'm not quite pleased with that. I mean, I'm still watching it. I just, it's hard for me to like hate entertainment. I do it. I can hate
You should
things,
try
but
harder.
I just,
There's
I
a
don't know.
lot out
I mean, if
there.
it makes me laugh a little bit, I'm okay with it. I thought this one was pretty funny, but you're right. It does kind of like the end fizzles a little bit.
I like this episode a lot. I just from this. I mean, really, it had Mr. Chunks.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a
Or
lot
Mr.
of great.
Chunks.
Like I said, okay, there's probably one aspect of this whole episode that I don't like, and that is ruin the episode for me.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. Is it the pool of vomit and diarrhea?
No, that is.
He sneezed in it.
But with Poopenmeyer, when he starts out, he's introducing things with he says it's his deeply tedious pleasure, which I would imagine if you were like a public servant in that capacity, like if you are on the Frank Jackson plan where you're just mayor forever, like there's got to be a point where you're just like, fuck this, yeah, hello, you don't know me that well, right. That kind of thing. And then just like the weird one-offs with Zoidberg and his fin getting like I get aroused in crowds.
Well, who doesn't?
I get anxious. I've started taking medication for it, and it really helps a lot. Like I can almost walk through airports now without punching people.
Do you think he's aroused because he's like around so many people? Like, do you think that because Zoidberg gets so little human contact that he's just like, oh my God, people are close to me?
It might be more like So you know when you don't eat and you get crabby and people say you're hangry?
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a version of that where you're really hungry and you get sexually aroused, like horngry or something? Because
I've never heard of that.
because he's like an omnivore. So just seeing
I've
all
never
those people,
thought
he
about
could
it,
just
but
be
I'm
like,
sure.
"Oh, this is quite the smorgasbord." If I let myself at it, you know. I mean, it's certainly
Quite the smorgasbord.
it's an emotion I want to explore.
Horngry.
It combines a couple of my favorite things.
I mean, I've gotten aroused, like at menus, looking at pictures of food, things like that. But
Every time Pete goes out of town, he texts me pictures of whatever he's eating in whatever city he's in, like
'cause I
Korean
know you'll
chicken.
appreciate
I know,
it.
and I do, and I'm sitting at work, and you'll send me pictures of like vegan fried fake chicken, and I'm like, oh, give me the chicken.
It was okay. So that was insane. Like, there's this place in Los Angeles, and they've got another one in Toronto. So I've been to both of them now. It's called Doomy's, and it's all vegan. Like, there are no animal products used in anything, but it's all shitty junk food. So like, they have a Big Mac that is like a Big Mac, and they make French fries like In-N-Out's animal style that are better than In-N-Out's because the fries are actually better. But I had their fried chicken basket with macaroni and cheese and fries, whatever. Somehow the non-meat chicken had skin. So I mean, it was super realistic. And then they had a shrimp basket. I don't know what the hell these were made out of, but they were indistinguishable from like shrimp.
so I don't understand the thing where if you're vegan or vegetarian, the effort to go so far to make things have the same consistency as chicken or look like chicken. It's like that it's not. Why are you trying to trick yourself?
Because taste is
Yeah, and
I know. That's weird to me.
I mean,
don't know.
it's hard to make the health argument when you're eating like deep fried
Oh yeah.
seitan or whatever. Seitan.
But you still get to hold it over people's that
Yeah,
I'm vegan.
I'm vegan. If I could go vegan, I would if I had like regular access to good tasting food. But in my
Ice cream.
experience, all of the vegan,
You don't like lentils and carob?
I do like lentils and I like carob, but like it's just the stuff that you can buy that's like this is vegan, kind of like.
Yeah, I think because I really enjoy eating meat.
Yeah.
And
It's really good.
yeah, so I understand the ecological impact of that. I understand the health impact of all of that. And, unfortunately, I'm not willing to make the commitment at this point. But knowing that there's options like that out there, like it's sort of like being a tourist into this thing. And if I was hanging out with friends who were like vegan, they're like, yeah, we want to go out to dinner. I'd be like, oh, fuck. But if they were like, we're going there, I'm like, okay, because I can get some macaroni and cheese and get some fried chicken. And it was all like acceptable to very good, as opposed to just being like, I think the only thing I've had on their menu that was kind of lackluster was the bacon, which I think they make it out of eggplant or something. And that just doesn't get the consistency right. But everything else, like that Big Mac burger that they do, is astonishing because it is so realistic.
Right.
So they also now I guess they have like a Mexican offshoot too, which I think would probably even be easier to sort of get into. But yeah, that's that. I think
Where are these restaurants?
Los Angeles and Toronto. So if you make the little trip, I think we should all go on like a road trip to Toronto. You can come too, Lachlan. It's a fun time.
I'll go.
Yeah,
I like poutine.
I have to borrow someone's passport.
Yeah,
though.
I don't have a passport either. I should get one.
you should, because it's very likely that we're all going to have to get the fuck out of this
Yeah,
country if
you're
we
right.
want to survive eventually. Anyway, so have you ever gone to one of those like municipal technology destruction days or whatever?
I've been to an actual landfill before.
It
was a field trip in school. They took us to the landfill. Public school.
I thought it was
Hey
going to be
kids, you want
that
to look
or
at some trash?
an art
Where
project.
did you grow up?
Columbus.
Oh, it's Cowtown down there. That's like a whole different world.
Oh, she used to have horse. It's a whole thing.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I'm from like the city though. I didn't grow up in
The city?
I'm from like in Columbus.
Okay.
It's not
Columbus
a great.
proper.
Grew up in like not a great neighborhood, so I don't really. I mean, I got out.
There are too many horses.
No, the horses were far away. I had to sit in the car for like an hour each way to get to the horses.
Which seems kind of counterintuitive. Why wouldn't you take a horse to get to the horses?
Because horses don't go as fast as cars. That's why they invented them.
Up until about 3 weeks ago, I was pretty convinced that the Mason-Dixon line was actually Rockside Road. So
You're not necessarily wrong. Right. I mean, I think it's a fluid boundary.
I think Columbus, having spent my entire life there and then living up here since 2010, basically, Columbus is way more liberal than Cleveland from what I've experienced.
Oh, well, you missed it. Cleveland was dead by 2003, 2004. Yeah. You missed all the good stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
I mean, you always have you got the universities and stuff, and sort of the influx, but it's
depends on where you are.
I mean, if you get outside of that inner ring, it gets pretty intense pretty quickly, as it does here. I mean, the only thing I was wondering about is like, when you go to dispose of your old computers and things, because they're full of toxic junk.
Yeah.
They'll add, I don't think they do it here because Lakewood, you can just bring it to the dump. But like when I was growing up, it's like bring it today, and it's like the paper shredding. You'd have like like sort of a fun fest, except for just destruction of
like
private
batteries and stuff.
Yeah,
like recycle. I need to learn more about recycling batteries because I've never done it. I've just thrown them
in the
out.
trash. Yeah.
But I know you're not supposed to just throw them in the
Didn't
trash.
they teach you that at the
Or-
landfill?
I mean, that was a long time ago. We're talking like 20 years ago that I went to my field trip to the landfill.
There's probably been some great advances in junk technology since
anything.
I just keep them in a drawer mixed with new batteries.
So it's like
Smart.
I stopped doing that.
like
See, I've got,
Russian
like,
roulette.
Batteries that work in like a remote control that like in certain things like, oh, I can't use this anymore. The batteries are dead. Better go put these batteries in my electronic toothbrush because it'll still work for another month, and I'll squeeze out that extra juice until I just can't anymore.
About a month ago, I took batteries out of a smoke detector in my house because the ones in the remote control were dead.
I've many of times taken.
I
9
feel like
volts.
this is
the go-to for 9-volt batteries. Need a 9-volt for your guitar
I feel
pedal.
like this is a well we could go very far down, and in the interest of good taste, I'm gonna move forward in saying that they got rid of the old vote rigging machine, the inefficient one. I think we had some of those in Cuyahoga County a few years ago. They had the old doomsday devices that the professor went to pitch, but then that poor Japanese toilet. Like, I have a
Happy
friend,
poopy time.
Yes. I mean,
you know too much.
like it was such a great line about that. But like,
He would have known. Oh,
what?
Japanese poopy toilet would have known about the reveal in this episode.
It's really.
I'm sorry. Let's keep going.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
because it's such a dumb joke that they beat the shit out of.
Yes.
From that poor woman. And then like Flexo being in the dumpster is, how many more times does he pop up between now and the end of the season? Is that just about it?
I can't remember.
I mean, that
He might pop up again.
just that little tidbit that the bending units are all obsolete.
Or that was the last of him because he was thrown out and they all went to that planet.
They overheat, they're radioactive, and cause erectile dysfunction. So,
I mean, that's just like cell phones, so I don't see what the big deal is. Did the robot baby in the envelope was almost like the greeting card from Mom's Day with Poop and Meyer kissing it and then just tossing it in. And unfortunately, but once again, very prescient about, Futurama predicting the future of just like, oh yeah, they're kids and they're worthless. Let's lock them up and throw them out. We don't, this is America. We don't need to worry about things like that. Fuck. We were talking about the state of affairs before the mic started up, so we're all a little bit down right now. But I like that they had the third world as a
It is the
separate
last
planet.
time Flexo appears.
That's the end of him.
He's been recycled.
Did are any of you watching Handmaid's Tale? I mean, God, this just
I mean,
dovetails
obviously
all
I
together.
am, but I haven't watched the one that just came out.
I'm not, no.
So the colonies
Mm-hmm.
are basically like the third world.
Yeah, I mean, they're cleaning up radioactive waste where the bombs fell by literally just making these inferior women
Or punishing them, yeah.
Or, yeah.
I mean, if you're not,
shovel slop and waste, radioactive waste.
yeah, that's
That's not really a spoiler if you know anything about Handmaid's Tale. You kinda-
yeah.
that's
They talk
a very
about it
minor
in the
plot point.
Atwood book, right?
Yes, they don't go deep into it, and it never gets to the point. Like at this point, they're writing new story because the book last season didn't even.
It basically
Like,
goes to the
stop
end
where the
of the
book
first
stops.
book.
It does, but it goes further. Yeah,
They said, "Oh, we can mine this for more misery," and really just.
and
fucking
I'm
bum
still
you out.
enjoying it. I know Margaret Atwood is involved, and I love her other novels, and I especially loved Oryx and Crake, and I hear they're making that into
Yeah.
another Hulu original at some point. So
Oh, good.
We'll see
'Cause
about
I think
that.
that's been in development hell, so I'll be happy to see that one. The junk rings on the third world were a nice touch, where they kind of spiraled around and were just full of crap. Okay, my iPod just decided to restart, so I have to remember these notes from my mind.
Oh no!
The part where they go onto the trash planet though, and it's like, what smells like bloody sinuses?
After the Antarian sets all the e-waste on fire, like literally disposing it, they just set it on fire.
Yeah, and then they're like, go find the shiny.
Go find the
Kids,
shiny.
like,
This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Really? Don't look over there.
that's something that like, I used to work in a warehouse that was, and I think you're doing similar stuff now. Like, how climate controlled is the situation you're in?
The warehouse I'm in now it's pretty good. Like it's they don't have air conditioning, but there's heat. It's heated in the winter and stuff like that. But I've worked in like, you know, warehouses where it's really just an old cinder block building, and whatever it is outside is what it is.
And it's just like the dust and like my sinuses are still fucked up from all of that. So like that whole line about just like, oh yeah, that's the thing. And then the neighbor behind me has a smoker. And I think sometimes he spends like a 12-hour Saturday smoking stuff in like burning plastic.
Oh no, that's the worst.
It was just I think it was either Memorial Day or 4th of July because it was hot out and we had the windows open, and this black smoke was coming into our house. We're like, what the? Like this smells like he's lighting plastic on fire. Like this is burning PVC.
Right.
So we're trying to call the non-emergency number for the fire department because we think like, is his house on fire? We don't fucking know. And they wouldn't answer. Maybe they were making porn. I don't, whatever.
That's Akron.
Yeah, look,
That's Akron.
they had to work somewhere before Akron, right? Maybe. But so then my wife called 911 and they got really pissy. And we're like, look, we think there's a fire and your non-emergency number didn't work. So we're just due diligence and our house smells like ass. So can you do something about that, please? There might be crispy people over there.
Or like children anywhere nearby with breathing difficulties. Like, that's people are so unconsiderate when it comes to burning shit in Lakewood. Like,
You think around
it's
here,
not
you
just
should-
Lakewood. It's
but the houses here are so close together, and people just put fires like right next to their house. And then
Well, it's illegal.
You have to be like 15 to 20 feet away from any structure, period.
Which is not possible
Which is
in
not
Lakewood.
possible in Lakewood. So you really should, I mean, unless it's like a small, I think it has to be in an enclosed container, like a fire pit or like a wood burning grill you can use close to your house. But like, yeah, it
nice
bugs
little
me
chimney,
as someone who like has to keep an air purifier running in my bedroom constantly just so I can breathe. Yeah, it sucks.
And then there's Tom's vacation home.
Yeah, anything goes burning there. If
Burn
it burns, you
anything.
burn it.
Styrofoam.
Yeah.
But I think that's the last time I smelled bloody sinuses was when we went up there for that weekend. Just like, oh, what do we do with this? Just throw it in. And then we cooked on top of the fire because
That's
fucking
healthy.
morons. Yeah. It did make the sausages taste a little bit better.
Styrofoam as a smoking agent is always a good move.
Yeah.
I mean, it brings out the flavor of whatever meat you're cooking.
It's because it's got whatever they use to puff it up when they extrude it. I mean, you get, it's like how do you say the word with wine? Like terroir? It's spelled like terror with an I. And French and I don't get along, but it's like
know what that word is that you're.
It's suppose like the ground. We've talked so little about this fucking cartoon. It's the ground that you grow the grapes in imparts a specific flavor to the wine that the grapes are made into. So it's like,
was someone drunk when they told you that?
No.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what word you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
you're more culturally
terroir. Terroir.
You just say it like that. We're just gonna nod.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
I mean,
Sounds right.
Robble. It's all.
Well, terra earth makes sense. Dirt.
It's all hamburger to me.
Terroir, sure.
The dog. Oh God, the poor dog that was eating the garbage on the garbage planet. Tail just snapped off. It's like, that's what we're gonna live in eventually, right? Like we're just offloading all that shit now. Maybe that's why we need a space force. Are we just gonna shoot all that shit into space in a big hunk of garbage?
Well,
No, the Space Force, they're gonna shoot rich people. They're building condos up there somewhere now.
Oh shit!
That's what's gonna happen. Is rich people are gonna go to space. The rest of us are gonna be left here to.
So far,
up
I
their
think
filth.
the Space Force's purpose is to monitor and manage satellite traffic and mitigate space debris. So literally things the Air Force already does, but
with a new outfit.
Space Force. Seriously, it's the dumbest shit ever.
Who's
it's a
gonna
good
pay
it's a
for
good
the wall?
thing.
Will I get a
It's a good
tricorder?
thing to do. I think it's a great idea, and it's definitely something that needs to happen is, mitigating space debris and coordinating satellite traffic so they don't crash into each other, especially since people are launching new satellites, like companies are launching new satellites all the time. Where the fuck are they going? And like when that company goes under, what the fuck happens to its satellite? Like it's an important thing to do, but
What about
like,
the Black Knight
it's-
satellite?
The Black Knight satellite?
Yeah.
What's that?
There's supposedly this mysterious satellite that's up there that nobody knows who put it there.
Maybe that's the Space Force's real mission.
I don't know. It's
Either
like
way,
an Art Bell type thing.
it's a thing that
but
needs to happen, but like the Air Force already kind of does it, so we don't need a whole new Space Force. But yeah,
I'd welcome fucking debris falling out of the sky at this point.
Be the greatest day of my life.
there's more important things to worry about than the fucking Space Force right now.
As long as it's not a frozen hunk of feces from an airplane, like if it's actual like metal from the sky of some technology, like I'd welcome that, I guess. And all of this is kind of a just this A-story misdirect because it really sort of stops after that point, right?
Yeah.
And then it turns into the iPhone thing.
So it's just a beginning, like.
So this was like 2010 when it came out?
2000
Ish. Yeah, I mean,
No, I don't. I have it here.
so like I mean, and then I think some of the parodying
Yeah.
of
July 1st, 2010.
like the tech trends and stuff, that all seemed a little hackneyed, I thought. Like it was some pretty low-hanging fruit, but they were dead on with Apple for that early aughts.
They've been dead on with a lot of things, though.
Yeah. It's just like, are you one to line up for new technology?
No.
Me neither.
Just get it online,
Well, not, I mean, even
but not online, but online.
You're probably the earliest adopter out of all of us.
Yes.
But like, I can't muster up that kind of enthusiasm anymore
No.
for something that's like, I know there's features inside these devices that I have never learned to use and never will because I just needed to do the 6 things. So I'm basically on the path to becoming my mother. Where it's like I just want to make a phone call. Like that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But like the silhouette ads with Mom and Walter and Igner and Larry, where she's like slapping them and they're all like knocking down across it, like that stuff was beautiful. But where
you look like an ethnicity that's good at technology.
like, is this a repeat of Shut Up and Take My Money, or is this the actual Shut Up and Take My Money?
Shut Up and Take My Money.
This is the real one.
This is the one.
It's a. I don't know. Like even the Apple Store is still one of those places where I just get anxious in. It's way too customer focused.
I've only been in there twice in my life into an Apple Store.
And did they evict you and throw you out for good?
No, I just have only had to go there twice.
For what?
The first time I went there was to buy a Mac Mini.
Okay.
And then the second time I went there was to buy an iPad Air.
Were you assaulted by their customer service
Yes,
representatives?
as soon as I walked in.
Just like white on rice?
Mm-hmm. And they have their own iPads, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, you want this?"
The
blah,
thing
blah,
that
blah.
like
Let me go get
freaks
it
me
out of the
out.
back.
The thing that freaks me out about the Apple Store is that there's no register. They all have little they have little iPad Minis, and they have like credit card swipies on it. Or if you have like an iTunes account, you just put in your information. You can pay with your
Yeah, because they already have their credit card.
They already have your information. You're just like, yep, here's that. And then the one time I had a gift card and I went in to buy, it was like a case or something. Cause I was like, well, what am I going to use this $25? It was specifically an Apple Store gift card. Cause there's a difference between the store gift card and
$25 Apple Store gift card sounds like
Who
the
insulted
worst
you with that
like, that is a very insulting present.
I don't remember how I think someone gave it to me to like traded them like
25 actual dollars.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think I gave my friend cash and he gave me an Apple Store gift card. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do? Well, it was like, I'll give you this $25 gift card if you give me $20 cash. And I was like, it's a deal. So, but I held on to it. I had it for like, I don't know, like a year, like 2 years maybe. And I was like, well, I just got a new iPhone. I guess I'll go buy like a case for it from the Apple Store with this $25. And the rest of it, I wanted to pay cash. And the guy was like, what's this? I've never seen, what's this green paper you're handing me? What do I do with this? And I'm like, you can take cash, right? Like, there's no cash register anywhere. He's like, I just got to go to the back room and I'll get you your change. Like, he was so,
cash box.
He was so upset
goes out
that
the
he had to
back
go
next door to the Orange Julius. What is this?
Do that move where you hand them a couple of coins so you don't get change back, and it'll blow their mind, you know.
That's
funny.
That's something that I've tried to talk to friends that are service industry people about. Like, I always when I'm tipping on something, I always want it to end in an even 0-0.
Yeah, I
because
do that too.
fuck, I just like let them do the math.
Right.
And I don't know if there's like I guess there's the one thing that's just like, just make sure you're fucking tipping adequately and then I don't give a fuck. Or is it just like, you fucking asshole, now I got to like sit here with a keypad and add it up. But like, there's no greater pleasure basically than like when I'm ringing out my groceries and it just comes to like an even number on something. Like, I just want to stop mid-cart and be like, fuck yeah, it's $63 even. I don't even know how I did that. Because you figure at some point, like, the tax is going to come on and fuck it up. But it's just like, there's something about those maybe it's because the zeros look like boobs.
It's possible. I never even thought about that, but that's
just this two round things. It hits that lizard brain
that you have to pay for.
Yeah. and pay and keep paying. I just had that insight now, but wow. Like, my wife keeps wanting me to go to therapy, and fuck, I figure it all out.
Why? You seem like you just got it all figured out right now.
It comes to me in these flashes of brilliance. How far away do you think we are from having actual, like, phones implanted into our fucking skin.
I mean, they have the
I
Google Glass. And
I have mine so frequently in my hand that it may as well be attached
Like
to my
grafted
skin.
onto
I'm
it.
literally holding my phone, and my iPad is in front of my hand holding my phone.
Yeah. And the best is when you'll be like on Facebook on both of them, and you're like, what the fuck
Like
am I doing?
When you're on Facebook on your computer, and then you pick up your phone and you open Facebook, and you're like, wait.
Oh God, maybe I should try and be present.
How mad do you get when you're on your phone and you're on Facebook, like on your phone looking around, and the phone rings, or you get a text and you have to stop what you're doing and click over to a different screen?
What I hate is
terrible.
if I'm like on Facebook, or like if I'll be doing something on a different app, and then the notification will like come down from the top, and I'll be touching the top of whatever I'm using that app for, like whatever app I have open, then it fucking closes it and switches the apps. It's white people problems, or the first world problems, or whatever.
The third world problems are being poisoned by radioactive waste.
First world issues, my apps change when I don't want them to on my $1,000 iPhone.
And then they get into this whole
third world iPhone problems are, I lost my hand because I was making this iPhone.
I'm committing suicide.
I jumped out of the Apple manufacturing plant.
Yeah, and then I got caught by this fucking net because they outsmarted me again. Damn you, Steve Jobs.
The iNet.
So then they get into this whole Twitcher and Twits thing, where that's like trying to make fun of that sort of thing. And now Twitter's basically the only...
Was Twitch a thing when this episode... I don't think Twitch existed when this episode came out.
You'll have to explain what Twitch is.
So Twitch is an app slash website where you stream yourself mainly playing video games, or like reading a book. Now you can do that, or like...
Well, is this the thing where you do it naked and collect money from people?
I don't think they let you do it naked. I think they have like community guidelines. But yeah, it's a lot of... There's a lot of hot chicks scantily clad.
So I would go onto this and watch someone else play a video game?
Yeah. Like if you can play video games with your friends and like stream it.
I'm so old. Yeah. It is not even fun. I don't get that at all.
One of my friends streams every Thursday, and I'll like watch his feed because it's like he's got a webcam or whatever set up on his TV. So it's like in the top corner of my screen, I can see like, it's like FaceTiming. Like I can see him sitting on his couch playing, but I can also see like most of my screen is what he's seeing on his TV.
So you're not even playing though?
Well, it depends. Sometimes
or if you're in a multiplayer,
you can like there are certain games that you can play together with people while streaming on Twitch, and you can see everybody's screen. It's kind of along the same lines of that like esports thing. There's like competitive gaming and all that happens on Twitch. Every year the same friend does it's called Extra Life. It's a charity where he like raises money that goes to like kids with autism. And
Extra Life or Extra Wife?
Life.
Okay.
Extra Life. Like an extra life.
Oh, like you got
game.
an extra. Okay.
And it goes to like a children's charity, and he raises money by playing, and like people who watch his stream want to see like him. And I was on his stream playing Overcooked this past, I think it was January when this happened. But like I was playing Overcooked with him and both of his sisters. And people were like watching us play this game and like yelling at each other across the couch about
how many people were
I don't know how many.
This?
I mean, I think at one point he had quite a few people watching at one point.
This might just be my Catholic upbringing, but this sounds like a dirty sex thing.
I don't know.
It's a video game nerd thing.
I really thought this story was going to go somewhere else when you were saying, yeah, I can see my friend and he's on the couch and. I really thought it was going to go somewhere else from there,
Just watching him play video games. And the funny thing is that sometimes I watch him play video games that I've already played, and I'm like, oh, he's getting to that part. Okay. I remember that. I had fun.
I don't know why.
I'm going to be honest. I would rather watch him jerk off on that couch than play video games. And that's not really my thing either, but at least then I could be watching at home like, oh, he's getting to this part.
I think he raised like $1,600
I know what's gonna
for
happen
this charity,
next.
though. Like he did raise like $1,600 for this charity just last year.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
People like donating to his his stream and all that.
I mean, my video game attention span pretty much ended with like Super Nintendo, and it has not been a part of my life since then. So like, that's why I needed you to explain what Twitch is. But then it has this whole other layer to it. So your son's about the same age as my daughter, a little bit.
Yeah,
Did he go through a thing of watching like Minecraft videos on YouTube?
No, but he does watch on YouTube. They're called there's. Probably you would probably know, but like he watches people play video games on YouTube, like they're called like run throughs or something like that. Like if he gets a new game, he will like watch how to beat certain levels and stuff like that. And I don't know. I guess it's okay.
Isn't that cheating?
Yeah. See,
if you get stuck, it's a
I understand.
walkthrough.
I've done that.
Right,
if you get
I've
stuck in
done-
something,
yeah.
you can look at a walkthrough.
They sell
It's like,
books too. Like,
back
that.
before the internet, those
Yeah,
books
I
were.
remember that.
I
We're
just
all the
remember that when I
rage.
was playing Berserk on my Atari 2600, I had 3 guys, and when I died for the 3rd time, I had to
You're
go back to
done.
the beginning.
Yeah.
So this whole thing where like he's like, my son will be like, "Oh, well, I beat the game." I'm like, "You beat the game? You just got it, like." But then
Where's your delayed gratification?
Yeah, he explained that. Well, when you die, you just you keep going from that part.
I just like, I guess it's sort of like reading the last page of the mystery novel. Like you want to know what
I
happens.
guess.
I they have like, the guitar tutorials or things like learn how to play this song or whatever. But like, you always, if you just try and figure it out yourself, you can always just express your frustration by bashing the shit out of the guitar. Like then it's like a whole other thing. I don't know. I have no concept of it. So it's like, that's one of the reasons we asked Michelle to join the show is like, she brings a whole depth of experience that we just, to help relate to the young people.
No, absolutely. I mean, like that's how it is. Like whenever my son tries to explain any kind of video game stuff to me, it always ends with him going, "Oh my God, you're 100." And he's not wrong. It's just I never was big on the video games,
And I don't feel like my life is emptier without it, but maybe it is.
Oh,
Maybe
I definitely
could
feel like
fill
my
the
life
hole.
is empty. I mean, I don't think it's because of video games, but I mean, I've certainly got problems.
Maybe that's the missing piece.
Right.
I think one of the things about this episode that did surprise me is like they had a reference to the Real Housewives. So the Real Housewives of Sim City thing, like, when did that all start Because that was an unstoppable juggernaut for years.
My parents watched all of those Real Housewives shows.
Really?
Yeah, I
Probably
think it was mostly
15
my
years
dad
ago?
that liked watching it.
It's
It
got to be
started
like
pretty
15
early,
years
like-
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
Probably
sounds
mid
about right.
2000s.
Maybe like I mean, I think it was on when I was in high school, so that would have been mid 2000s.
I mean, like the Sim City gags it was fun, and I guess now just to kind of tie this back to what we were just talking about. I mean, is there really any difference watching reality TV and watching someone play fucking video games? Because it's all you're passively voyeuristically watching this thing of just like it's all contrived anyhow, like whatever. But it's I don't know. It's all just we're all just like 4 seconds away from Black Mirror in real life.
I laughed really hard when Fry said, "No wonder traditional media is dead. Check out this webisode of Hypnotoad." And then it was literally like a half of a second of Hypnotoad.
Right.
Play again.
It's
Like
just
I laughed.
looping.
Do you remember webisodes? Like pretty much webisodes started, or they were a huge contributor toward the 2008 writer strike.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because all these writers, like all the writers for The Office, were making these webisodes for NBC, and they weren't getting paid
Oh,
for their
no
work.
shit.
So that's why the Writers Guild was like, you know what, fuck this. If we're gonna be doing all of this
Extra
work and not getting paid for it, we're gonna get paid for it. We're gonna make them pay us.
And we all got shorter seasons of 30 Rock and Breaking Bad. God damn it.
But don't worry, they figured a way
That
around
was-
that by
that was
having
the
more of
invention.
those,
Yeah.
That was the invention of the terrible mid-season break. Dude, like I
mid-season
can't stand
breaks.
it. It's fucking stupid. Make a season, release a season. Don't make like 3 episodes and I gotta wait 3 months for another one because there's a mid-season break.
Like
Do you
this
remember
show?
the old days when you wanted to watch a show and you had to wait until that exact same time the next week to see the next episode?
I never had DVR, and I've still never had DVR, so like that's still when I want to watch TV, I have to actually like, and I don't even have cable at my house, so I do have to just like watch it when it's on. That's still like that's still a thing.
Well,
but
my daughter
yeah,
doesn't
the
even
mid-season
understand
break is
commercials. Like
dumb.
that is just completely eliminated that delayed gratification of that.
Right.
And like at least now too, if you're binging through a season, you get to an episode that sucks, you can just skip it. Like the other one, you just have to wait a week. Like I don't know, is Airwolf going to figure it out, or is it going to be a bad cliffhanger? What if they cancel it, and then you're stuck? It's really just oh god, we're very old.
We are.
But I like how Bender puts himself inside an episode of All My Circuits. With Calculon and Monique are standing there. And when they're showing the crew all doing random shit on their iPhones, Zoidberg is watching a sub sandwich with like shapely lady legs just like dancing around. And I lost it. It was
He was
so
horngry.
funny.
He was horny.
There was a couple things that we missed back as when they were going into the iPhone thing. Leela had the rotary cell phone, the rotary flip phone. But
Your call to St. Louis gone through, Miss Taranga.
But when they had the iPhone commercial, he's like, you can stalk your ex. You can download porno on a crowded bus.
All while getting hit by a train.
That's part of it that like, I mean, that's that whole, I mean, God, we were just talking about the firefighters that were making porno at their firehouse. There's, clearly that's something people do. There was one story that I think it wasn't in the book. It might have just been a Facebook anecdote where you had a coworker who was just like full on going to Pornhub in the warehouse.
Yeah, that was earlier this year. Yeah, he was full. He ended up getting fired.
Oh, no shit.
And his line. So at the beginning of this year, I work in this big chemical warehouse, and at the very beginning of this year, I was posting all this kind of stuff on Facebook because for the first like 3 weeks in January, I literally had nothing to do because they were like transferring over the entire operating system because our company got bought out and everything. And so it was honestly like, like 400 people like, fighting over brooms, looking for things to do, So, and this one guy, nice guy, his name was Dennis, but he walked by and there were all these people from this company, this bigger, the company that just bought us out. There were all these like supervisors and stuff in the building checking things out. And I just happened to walk by this guy Dennis, and I just happened to look back at his computer, and it was not like just a picture of like a hot chick. It was full on like hardcore porn, with the sound off. But I mean, like, and he wasn't even watching it. He was like looking at something else, but and like actually doing some kind of work. But just the fact that he had this blaring like
just
right behind
on
him,
the background,
and
screensaver.
So I mentioned it to a couple of coworkers. I'm like, oh my god, look at that, and. So
Jeez.
It got to a supervisor, and the supervisor went over and he talked to him. He said, Dennis, what are you doing on your computer? And the greatest line of all times, he goes, yeah, I'm just looking at girls. So,
Oh my god.
but they sent him home for the day, and they went, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like, I'm pretty tech, ignorant and stuff, but I know that I'm not going to go on, porn sites at work, and that all that stuff is tracked by someone,
For sure.
I send like my wife emails, and I try not to even put like swearing in it or bad mouthing the company because
Right.
I just imagine someone is reading them somewhere. But they came back and he printed out like, it looked like one of those like just computer paper full of all these things with like his internet history, and it was unbelievable. There were some websites on there that are like I'm not gonna lie, I've looked at some porn. I'm an old man, I've been married for a long time, but there was stuff on there that I was even like kind of creeped out.
So you can't even buy the magazines anymore. It's really your only option.
Oh yeah.
And that just. It's
By
just
the way, Dennis, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well.
Hey, Dennis. Thanks for
the
listening.
obliviousness of it, because like I don't even log into Facebook on my work computer. Like I want that as
I can't.
far away
It's
as it is.
blocked.
Yeah,
I can't even sometimes I'll Google something on my break and then I'll click on it and it'll be like, oops, you can't go there. That's a Pinterest link. And like I will have had like I've looked at like on my lunch break, I've been like, I think I'm gonna get my hair cut. Like, what am I gonna do with my hair? All that shit, it's all Pinterest. You can't find a picture of a goddamn hairstyle without having to go to Pinterest. And it's blocked because it's social media according to my job.
If you go to like a nice hair salon like Best Cuts or something, there's always that book.
They don't even have the books anymore.
Oh, they
and
don't?
for a woman, if you don't know what you want the second you walk into that salon, like you're not gonna get what you want.
You're not gonna like.
You're not gonna like what you come out with. But
that was the thing about this episode where they brought up porno a lot. And maybe just because you're talking about
this
iPhones
guy
and
sure
stuff.
likes porno.
It's like, what's happening to me? Is it puberty?
Did you know that these iPhones are phones too?
Like Leila, this was uncharacteristic for a couple reasons because she seemed to get caught up in all the hype, and usually she's the naysayer, but she's eating tacos and spaghetti while driving the ship and crashed it. But Fry's little video where he's like just burping eggs, scratching my underarm fungus, and looking for love. It was like that's my life.
I like the ad tailored for him.
Yeah.
Mr.
Did you have an underarm fungus?
Well, it was Fry saying my underarm fungus.
What is August 6th, 1991? I didn't look up
I don't know.
the date.
I meant to Google it before I came over, but I didn't.
But since when is the internet about robbing people of their privacy? And they're just like August 6th, 1991. I don't know.
Well, we better look it up quick before we get another review that says we don't know what we're talking about.
I'm still trying to
Come
figure that
on.
out.
The first website ever launched went live on August 6, 1991.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so like from literally
There you
the
go.
first day. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Whoever left that review.
At this
What are you
point,
talking about?
I don't know. I was wondering about that.
Which one of you do you think he thinks sounds drunk all
Tom.
of the time? I think it's Tom too.
Probably.
No offense, but I'm pretty sure.
He's drinking water.
I was
unless
gonna
it's
say, is
vodka
that
in
why you're
there.
drinking water this time?
No. I've actually, it's been almost a month since I've had anything to drink. So.
Take that, Mr. iTunes
Yeah,
reviewer.
but you still sound drunk. I mean, you
guess
get the
so.
best of both worlds. Where this gets into the bet between Bender and Fry, and they bring out Mr. Chunks. Like, I was so sad with what happened to Mr. Chunks, but just the fact that
At least he died doing what he loved.
coming out of both ends, it's like what goes out of the one goes into the
Feed
other.
to the other.
plus Indian food, which I think Indian food gets a bad rap because number one,
It's
totally
delicious.
delicious. And number two, just because you're like, weak ass gut can't handle the spice
Yeah.
or whatever, like that's your problem, not
So this episode,
not the subcontinents.
this show is becoming 50% us talking about Futurama and 50% us talking about food.
or diarrhea.
It's all connected. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, it comes back.
Literally with Mr. Chunks, that is the case.
I just didn't. I guess this is the part where Mom kind of reveals her evil plot, but I didn't really understand it. It seemed like it was going to be a lot more malicious than it ended up being. She was just creating like consumer zombies, which she already had.
And she called it the killer app, and I do mean killer app, but it's really just
nobody
unless
died.
it goes further than like maybe that's just like phase 1 of a 10-phase plan.
It could be. She's always thinking of something.
Yeah.
I imagine you
It's
got to
Mom.
get bored if you're in that position. Like she's basically omnipowerful because she is responsible for all the technology in the world. She's rich as everything. She's basically Oprah,
Right.
I guess. Or like if Oprah and Steve Jobs had a mega baby, like that's her. But I mean,
It's a good-looking baby, by the way.
right? It would be.
Steve Jobs and
It would
Oprah.
have like the most delicious mocha skin tone. It would be and smart as fuck. Like it would just be. It would be beautiful. I was wondering if the actual name of the goat, if Mr. Chunks's species was the puke me poop you.
That's a reference to Dr. Doolittle.
Is it like there's the push me pull you though? Like that's I mean, is that what it's tied back to? Really?
Mm-hmm.
I
think so.
Maybe my favorite phrase in the English language this week because it's. I mean, it encompasses so many things that I have extensive experience with. And then it is this the part where the episode ruins for you, Tom?
Are we talking about the boil?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just the laziest
hate
fucking joke.
Oh, because
It's
her
so
name is
dumb.
Susan. Well, it was topical when the episode came out.
But it was mean as fuck.
Yeah, especially
Craig
because it was
Ferguson,
Craig
too.
Ferguson.
Was it?
Yeah. Ew, she's Scottish. Yeah, that was Craig Ferguson. And I didn't realize it until after the episode was over and it said special guest Craig Ferguson. And I was like, holy shit, that was Craig Ferguson.
I didn't even I didn't watch for the credits. I just figured it was somebody doing a voice. I mean, it was even that whole thing, it was just like, oh, she's an ugly lady and she sings pretty. I mean, like, that's kind of what 60% of popular music has always been. Like, you know, they just kind of milked that. But then they just seemed like they'd be piling on, like, oh, she's a boil on the ass of this person that sings.
Well, I like when Leela says that she goes, no, I'm a freak. And Frag goes, nuh-uh. Well,
It's
like she literally is a mutant with a singing ass boil.
yeah, I mean,
Yes,
like,
she's a freak, but well,
it reminded me of this movie I saw once called Chatterbox. Are any of you familiar with this?
sounds
All right, I gotta set the stage for this a little bit. You might be familiar with some of the location because there used to be sort of on High Street by where Insomnia Coffee Shop was next to the Newport. There was that little side street that had like the import house where you could go and buy bongs and Rasta hats and whatnot.
I know nothing about the import house.
No.
Wink, wink.
Me neither. I saw those pictures of your father. Clearly he doesn't either. But then there was also like a video store there too. And so, I mean, this is
My
late,
friend's car
late
got
90s.
towed out of that parking lot one time when we weren't skipping school. We left school for
to
lunch.
go to the import house.
We went and got Greek food at
Apollo's?
Apollo's.
Oh,
and
shit.
while we were eating Apollo's, my friend's car got towed.
Apollo's?
And we were like trying to get back to school, and the car was gone, and we had to like find it. And
At the old Apollo's location, I literally saw cockroaches walk across the bar and still stayed or got my €3 because on Monday night euros were $1.25, and I still have like, you know, motor and muscle memory about how delicious, because it was just a slab of grease wrapped in a pita with some tzatziki sauce and tomatoes. Fantastic. But the video store there, I can't remember what it was called, but it's when video stores were still a thing. Yeah, they had the sort of first run stuff, but it also had a lot of genre and weird things. When you got up into the upstairs, it was like, here's all this weird shit left over from the 80s. It's like kind of sleazy, whatever. So there's this movie called Chatterbox. It's about a woman who has a vagina that can sing and has a beautiful voice. So she becomes like a famous singing sensation because her box can like sing, and like the
I
cover
gotta
is
look
her.
that up.
It's, I mean, I've confirmed that it exists. It is in IMDb. Total just like trash exploitation movie. Not nearly as dirty as you'd expect it to be, a movie about a singing vagina, but you know, it was made and released and put out on home video and then languished on these shelves forever. Totally bizarre. And that's what I was thinking of when they kept going back to this singing boil. But the fact that she'd lance it, like that was the part where it's just like, God, they're just being fucking cruel. Like, what did Susan Boyle ever? I mean, totally
Yeah.
insipid, vapid music, but
Right.
so is 98% of fucking pop music anyway.
I think it's just an easy joke.
Yeah,
Because it's a boil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was just dumb. I was, you know, the jokes about her dignity sac rupturing were better than the actual jokes with the thing.
That's just lazy writing. Right
Yeah, and it's always been on a relatively smart end of the scale for writing. So it's like when they do cheap out like that, it's just like, you guys are better than this.
there. Right.
You know, you just got resurrected after being canceled. Can't you make it happen better? But the part where she sort of revels in it and then she's doing the Marilyn Monroe thing, it just got weird. And then Mr. Chunks died. Fuck.
Poor
Poor
Mr.
Mr. Chunks.
Oh.
Did this happen before or after Jared from Subway's horrific fall from grace?
way before.
Oh, that's way
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Was it?
Jared from Subway.
That was just a couple of
relatively
years ago.
recently,
It was
yeah.
like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe.
No, I think it was more than that.
More than
but
that? I don't know.
That's
Recent. This is like 2010.
Which is he's both inspiring and disgusting.
Yeah.
That's basically what I want to be. Like, you know, you could say that about so many wonderful pop culture icons, like, you know, Iggy in the 60s.
Are we going that far in saying that Jared from Subway is a pop culture icon?
I think, well, he's a reference that still
Right.
lands today. I mean, I think now it's even more. They could probably just get the inspiring out of there. I'm surprised they didn't go back and retcon that, because they've done that on a few episodes where they've like gone back and changed lines or references to things when something bad happened. But yeah, just you never saw that coming from him.
Well, true. So do you know what are the other examples? Like they've gone back and like taken jokes out if they were.
There was something where they made a reference to a president, and they like it was some kind of joke where the president was referenced in it, and they changed it from like either changed it to Bill Clinton or changed it from Bill Clinton from something. I think there was a couple. I mean, it's not a lot because you have to pay the Korean animators a lot to go back and fix all that stuff, but it has happened periodically.
That's weird. Like I would think like once a show was in syndication, like you wouldn't have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Maybe not play the OJ episode, you know, but
right. Roseanne's been in here a couple times. I
Right.
mean, you know, I guess it depends on the scale. Like this is a throwaway joke in a not wonderful episode of a show that, you know, the people that listen to this are a super small minority.
I forget what even the reference of Jared from Subway was in this. What were they?
I think they're talking about the boil, and they say it's both disgusting and inspiring, like Jared from Subway.
Oh.
Because she's got the beautiful voice and everything. But then again, they go into the whole thing of like the viral fame just getting churned out immediately, where Leela doesn't even realize that she's not famous anymore. Because
It was 2015 that they rated his stuff.
It seems like so much
See,
longer.
Apparently-
3 years ago.
Apparently, though, like the FBI was like after him since like 2007, though.
Damn.
Oh my God. Well, look, it took him like 50 years to get Cosby. So
have they really gotten Cosby yet? though?
Camille left him.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. I mean,
And they had a pretty solid thing, man.
apparently she stuck with him through all of that horrificness. God, just never meet your heroes, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we could get into
just
the
don't
whole,
have heroes.
We can get into the whole
No,
Chris
that's-
Hardwick thing right now, but that would be like the third conversation I've had about what's going on with him today.
Oh, God.
So
Yeah,
I'm not. I know. Like he get accused of like beating a girlfriend or something like
not
that.
beating, but like
beating her emotionally
abusing
and
and
being-
possibly sexually
yeah.
abusing her.
kind of rapey.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this year's my 20th wedding anniversary. If emotional abuse is going to be a problem on there, I mean, I gotta talk to somebody. You know,
Yeah, it's
pretty much my bread and butter.
I mean, it was a staple of my first marriage. As a recipient, not a giver, really. But the account from his ex-girlfriend is pretty awful and pretty damning. And you know, when Michelle kind of posted it in our internal thread, so look, we're talking about it anyway. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it's not a jump.
I mean,
for him.
he's denying it, and everyone who's close to him is saying nothing.
It's not even that he's denying it. He basically just went, nuh-uh. That's what it boils down to, I think. He's just like, oh, I'm shocked.
He said, like,
and no, I didn't.
As a married man who is soon to be a father, because, I mean, I don't think Lydia Hearst is pregnant, but they're going to have, like, he's said it a million times on his podcast that they're going to have kids at some point. He's like, as a married man and a soon-to-be father, I would never do this to any woman or whatever. I don't know. I personally, I don't like Chloe Dykstra, never have liked Chloe Dykstra, but I'm not going to out and out say she's bullshitting, but it's very within her, like, deal to be, like, over dramatic, and I don't know. I don't like her, and I've never liked her. I think she sucks.
I don't
But
have
if
strong
it's true,
feelings about her.
If it's
either
true, then he's a
way.
monster. Like, if what she wrote is true, I don't know. I have very mixed feelings on
We're gonna get like 4 emails
specifically
about this.
Yeah,
next week.
good, because
Yeah, I was
that
just
means
gonna say,
somebody's
like,
listening.
I don't
Like,
know. I don't know who Chloe Dykstra is, but
she's a cosplayer who used to be somewhat well known for dating Chris Hardwick.
Wow.
Like
I don't know.
Her dad is John Dykstra, who invented the lightsaber.
Oh.
He was an industrial light and magic guy, and her mom, I think, was also a model.
I just as an aside, if Chris Hardwick and Lydia Hearst have a child, it will be the son of a bowling champion and or the grandson of a bowling champion and Patty Hearst. So that's
Nice.
that's a fucking pedigree and a half.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really know any of the particulars in that situation, but I am a dude, and I have friends who are dudes, so I just always, if a woman accuses you of something, I generally believe the woman. You know, because men are really pretty terrible.
There is a depravity that just, I mean, it just is.
Yeah. Like I'm most people would tell you that I'm a pretty good guy, but like, I mean, there are things that like, until like, my wife would be like, yeah, that's not cool. Like, it would never even dawn on me. I'm like, oh, is that bad?
Like
is
40 minutes
is that
ago.
frowned upon?
People keep saying, like, well, she says she has proof. Where is it? Like, she shouldn't have to prove herself. If she says this man abused me, it shouldn't be a prove it. It should be, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, but because it's Chris Hardwick, America's favorite nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I think they've both ruined their careers at this point. So
I mean, we 40 minutes ago were both on board with comparing double zeros to boobs. So I mean that is literally the grease floating on top of the pond of depravity.
Right.
But back to Susan Boyle.
Yeah. Well, so it just there's the point where she asked Fry if he was rolling around in New Jersey because he went to redeem himself, and then got the double take of like jumping off the diving board, landing on the side of the pool, then rolling into the Mr. Chunks pool.
Are we there already?
Yeah.
All the way to the end?
Yeah. At least based on my notes. I mean,
we didn't even talk about how he shared it. He shared the video of Susan Boyle singing on Leela's ass and made her a viral star.
Or a viral shame.
Yeah, well, she's walking around the city, and all those construction workers were laughing at her, and the kids tried to get her ass to sign an autograph, and there was a whole montage that we skipped here. But Mr. Chunks died.
Oh, God.
Which I know we did mention, but
it's so sad.
He
was just doing what he's supposed to do and excelling at it.
Too much Indian food.
Singing butts.
Too much Indian food.
Singing butts are yesterday's news.
No, Sal. He just cuts right to the quick on this stuff. So so Bender and Fry both get to 2 million followers each. So they got 2 million followers to release the killer app into. Mom releases the killer app.
But some of the followers follow both Bender.
So all we know for sure is that we have between 1 and 2 million people.
And even though she slaps Walter for that,
Quit getting slapped
the fact that she then says that that's what it is. I mean,
yes.
The thing that fucked me up more than anything, this is maybe the most disturbing part of the whole episode, Krusty the Clown was in the crowd.
Like a modified Krusty, yeah.
He
it was
weird.
weird.
It was, I don't know. I think it was just like a
tribute
Matt
act?
Groening clown.
Clown, yeah.
It looked a lot like Krusty. I mean,
how old would Krusty have been at this point then?
1,000 years. He could have been cloned. He could have been frozen.
Could have been the great grand nephew.
That's where this gets fucked up because
clowns don't die.
They've referenced The Simpsons as being a cartoon in the show. So then for Krusty to be alive, it's just.
He had like dark blue hair and a different outfit. He wasn't quite Krusty, but he wasn't not Krusty.
He's Krusty enough.
He was Krusty-ish.
Yeah, and then like the big dumb reveal is just like, oh, everybody's gonna go buy the iPhone 2.0, which they would have done anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think this is just phase
silly.
1 of a 10-phase evil plot.
Well, the iPhone X just came out last year.
I'm literally holding it right now.
Yeah, so that's
and I'm
the
already planning
of it,
on
right?
buying the bigger one when it comes out.
I haven't even followed it. I just
see. I got this because it's smaller than the Plus, which I'd had the last 2 Pluses. I like the bigger screen, and this one has like basically the same size screen. It's a hair thinner and like a little bit longer, and I've realized after having this phone for a while, I miss having a wider screen.
But
like
you have
it fits
smaller
in my
hands.
I know,
Like, it
and that's
seems
why
so
I was like,
counterintuitive.
this seems like it will be the better phone for me because it's only a little bit smaller width-wise, but longer, like quite a bit longer. And it fits in my hand better. It fits in my pocket better. And I thought this physically smaller phone with a physically larger screen is a good choice. I will buy it. And then I did, and I want the big one now. I want the bigger screen.
So can I just the amount of jokes that I want to make?
I know
right
it's
now
like more length,
is-
less girth.
Yeah, I know it's pretty incredible.
Sorry.
But
Michelle has outed herself as a size queen. I think that's what the takeaway on this.
that's where I'm going with that.
What was the music at the end of the show? Did that because I tried to watch through the credits for that, but it didn't give music credits.
I forgot what played.
So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the truth that I watched it on YouTube, and it was like some weird, all sped up. So I couldn't even,
Daily Motion
Right.
between Netflix taking it off and Hulu putting it
Yeah.
on. There were a few episodes that I had to watch on Daily Motion, and it was
Yeah.
like not.
Yeah, the sound was all weird.
Did they just speed it up like
well,
one
there's
and a
an
half
option
times?
you can slow it down by pressing a couple buttons and like putting it on 0.75 times.
Well, I don't know
and
where
it
you were
sounds
the other
right.
night to tell me that
Hey,
I could
if you
press
had
buttons.
told us that you didn't have Hulu, we could have sent you a
No,
DVD or
well,
something
I
to
know.
watch.
I have we have Netflix, and
It's not on. Well,
yeah, I know it was on
was,
up
they
until
took it
like a
off.
couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and my son was like, "Yeah, they just took that off."
Fuck.
I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, it just I don't know. So we're only like 3 episodes into this new season from when it got resurrected,
Yes.
and it's hard to tell where it's going to go because it's definitely taken a raunchier turn because that's when it came up on Comedy Central, so they had a little more leeway.
Right.
Where it's the irony being that Fox used to be the raunchy network, and now they just fucking they play hard and fast with the reality itself,
Right.
much less like dirty jokes and things. So it's been a roller coaster ride so far.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you the next 1, 2, 3 are
Great.
but episode 7
Did
is
you
one
say
of my favorite of all time. Of the whole
not
series.
great or great.
I said
They're
and he goes,
Oh, okay.
I think he was being sarcastic
I was
when
looking.
he said great.
I was looking to see what they were. So we've got coming up
Proposition Infinity.
the Da Vinci Code, which is okay. I don't even remember Lethal Inspection.
That's the Bender's has a problem
With his ass.
He has
Just one?
he was made without
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
some part.
Yep. I remember.
They've watched all this stuff. It's all new for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I don't know what the closing credits were. I was trying to figure out what it was, but
I don't know. If
it's
somebody
not
knows,
listed
tell
on
us
the
because I'm
Infosphere.
genuinely curious.
But don't yell at us about how the voice of Nibbler is Frank Welker. Yes, we know.
I thought I always said Frank Welker.
I don't know what this guy's talking about. Whoever you are, you're crazy.
Yeah,
Use your
email
real
us
name.
and tell us.
Use your real name in
Did
your
I
iTunes review next time.
Did
so
I
we
say
can ask you
Fred
what you're
Welker
talking
or
about.
something?
I don't know.
Or just
It may have been a slip of the tongue, but he was like, one of the guys always sounds drunk.
Which is
and it's not
Tom.
as good as it used to be.
Oh, these are
And-
two different
Oh my
ones,
God,
though.
it's okay, is it?
Yeah,
okay,
but-
well, everybody should use their real name in their iTunes reviews just so that I can ask
Stalk
you for your
you.
honest opinion on the
Fine.
episode.
She'll show up and tell you crazy art school stories
Yeah,
to
but
your
I
face.
won't accept your friend request, so
Yeah.
please, you can contact me through the Slurmcast Facebook page, but I will not accept your friend request on my
I will
personal
not.
page. I'm sorry. I have to
Yes.
use my real name now on Facebook.
So no creeps allowed.
So
other
people
than
are
the three
starting
of
to
us.
find me. It's fine. I get it if you want to be my friend, but if I don't know you,
I mean, it's fine. I get
it's
it.
cool.
You want to be my friend.
Well, people
I'm
are like,
amazing.
oh, I listen to this
Everybody's
podcast.
interested.
I've wanted
It's
to do
cool.
it. Like, I've wanted to add people whose podcasts I listen to when I see them on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, hey, that person is managing a page for a podcast I listen to. I will add them. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep it cool if we comment on the page. That's cool.
I've been doing this show for 2 years, and not one person has tried to add me as a friend.
I get like
You've actually lost 12 friends since we started this.
People have like unliked my band over this podcast.
I get like 1 or 2 requests per month, and I can tell because it says, like, when I click on their friend request, it says likes your page, Slurmcast a podcast for no reason, and I'm like, oh, okay, I've never met this person before. We have no mutual friends, or maybe like a handful of mutual friends who are just people I know in the area, and I'm like,
I don't know. I keep my friend list pretty.
I'm just very strict.
I keep it pretty slim too.
Very strict.
And I always say, like, after this book came out, and like people would, they would send me friend requests and stuff like that, and I would always be like, like I would look at their page sometimes, and I'd be like, I don't think I would talk to this guy. Like if I ran into him somewhere.
Yeah,
but,
this is. I mean, thanks for the interest, but I don't need you sharing that particular meme.
Yeah, right.
That's horribly racist and bad and misspelled too. That's wonderful. Like literally, no one has ever done that.
Right.
Well, maybe because all your friends already listen to the podcast.
I don't have friends. And I'll tell you this, as I'd like to consider myself at least a good acquaintance of Michelle's. I don't know if I'm at a friend status yet. She's a horrible person. So you're trolling for fucking awful shit anyway.
Man.
Oh man. Ouch.
I
I'm a
see
little
how
hurt.
I'm just bitter. Why doesn't anyone love me? Anyway, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you very much.
So, you were a part of the Chargers Street Gang. People should go look that up. It's some pretty killer rock and roll featuring the world's probably only grilled cheese bazillionaire.
Before his grilled cheese days.
Yeah, before the grilled cheese empire took over the world. But the Chargers were a legendary rock band in Cleveland in the late 90s, early 2000s. But now your most recent project is this book.
So I would just post like funny stories on Facebook, and because they're so great, obviously
they are though. It's
they're
autobiographical,
right? Yeah, they're just funny stories about like me growing up and stuff. And my friend Anna contacted me, and she was like, "Hey, I would put those out if you typed a bunch of them up, and like that's a book. I would put that out." And I kind of thought she was joking for a while, but apparently not, because I got a book of them or a box of them in my car. I'm trying to sell.
It's just like when you used to have CDs.
Absolutely, yeah, right.
Physical media. Buy my physical media.
It's
selling your mixtape out of your trunk.
Absolutely. Yeah. I found that people are more receptive. Like I used to have a hard time selling like Chargers records to like like your parents' friends or something like that want to support, like I'm like, well,
this isn't for you.
I really don't think you're going to like this record, but like books are much, much better, because I think a lot of people, like, they'll buy them to be nice and then throw them in their house, and, maybe they'll read it, maybe they won't. But
yeah, but it's, it's a low bar to entry. They can support you, and if they don't read it, it's like, I'm going to get to it. Yeah. If you're like, I can't give up 40 minutes to listen to a rock and roll record, then fuck you.
Well, that's a big commitment.
Yeah, anymore it is. So, I mean, people can obviously get them from you. I know it's around other places in Cleveland, but if you're not in the area...
If you're not in the area, then it is available on Amazon, just under my name, Lachlan MacKinnon, and you could type in the title of the book, Let Me Tell You a Story, and apparently there is, like... 38 other books named Let Me Tell You a Story or something like that.
I will post a link to the page when this episode posts.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it is hilarious and
if you choose 2-day shipping, Lachlan will drive it to your house.
Yeah. If you live within, an hour of Cleveland, I will absolutely show up and sell you one.
Fantastic. So thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure. I would like to have you back sometime soon. Do we have any other things happening? No. I think we're actually going to be able to record regular episodes for a few weeks. So
for a few weeks.
That's good.
Then I got to go some places.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm going next. Maybe nowhere. Maybe everywhere. It's hard to say.
All of my places are on the weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm always free.
Don't tell. They'll try and add you on Facebook and invite you to shit.
Yeah, but don't.
No.
I don't know.
Well, yeah. Thanks for listening. This is, Slurmcast. You're listening to it already, so you know. But you can find us on Facebook.
And you can find my book, Let Me Tell You a Better Story.
That's the name of the next one.
It's all pictures.
Yeah.
It's all pictures of Tom and the clothes he made for his stuffed rats. On Twitter and Instagram, we're at slurmcastpod. You can email us at slurmcastpod@gmail.com. Rate and review us in iTunes. You can go to slurmcast.com and download all of our episodes, which also has a link to our shirt store on TeePublic.
Yeah. Which there'll be some new designs up there soon.
Oh, awesome. That's a surprise for me, too. You can call us or text us at 216-438-1077. Mostly we get voicemails from IRS tax scams.
Yeah.
Or this
Home
thing that just
security
says,
systems.
yeah, that says
and-
Bullhorn and then the address to my house somehow. I don't know. I don't know how they have that, but it's terrifying. So yeah, we'll be back next week with apparently another not as great episode of Futurama.
It'll be awesome.
It'll be
You'll
awesome.
love it.
We'll make up for it with a great guest. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.